When I think of what your most beautiful means, to me, it is being beautiful inside and out. I feel my most beautiful when I'm just being around. First, starting with my Rimmel Fix Perfect Primer and color 001, I'm going to spread it all over my face in dots and then rub it in. Going in with my Anastasia Dip Brow in chocolate, I'm going to fill in my eyebrows. Using my LA Pro Concealer in the color Talkie, I'm going to fill in the top and underneath the eyebrow to give it a good arch. I'm actually letting my eyebrows grow in for my birthday so that I can get them waxed the day before. And I'm just blending it out with my fingers. I'm actually then going to use the same tube of Pro Concealer LA Girl, and I'm going to use this for my highlight. Underneath the eyes, up the nose, and on the forehead and on the chin. Going in with my Claire's brush, I'm just going to work that in, but this brush is kind of soft, so later in the video you'll see that I'll use a sponge to blend it in a little bit more. I'm just using the e.l.f. finishing spray to wet the brush to see if it'll do a better job. Going into my NYX Mineralized Set It and Forget It, I'm going to use it to set my highlight. The color of this highlight is medium dark. This eye primer is by I can't find it right now, but I'll link it in the video. This eyeshadow that I'm using as my transition color is Saddle by MAC. Okay, that eyeshadow primer is Too Faced Shadow Insurance Anti-Crease Eyeshadow Primer. But like I said, I'm using the MAC Saddle as my transition color and a Soho brush to do the blending. Going into my Lorac palette, I'm going to just pop this first color all over the front part of the lid. I've changed brushes and now I'm going back into this bronze color, and I'm just going to overlap that color at the edge, that corner of the eye. Going into my Stila palette, I'm going to go into the bronze color on the Stila palette, and it is called Whim. And I'm going to pop that into my transition color too. This is me just blending. I take a lot of time blending to make sure there's no harsh lines. Going back into my Stila palette, I'm going to use the color Captive, and I'm going to put it in the middle, towards the middle of the eye, on top of the other top color from the Lorac palette. Using the color Wonder, I'm going to pop it into the middle by my eye just to give it a little bit of pop and shine. Blending it out to make sure that it blends out towards the bottom of the eye. Going into my two MAC foundations, one in NW47 and the other one in NC50. I use 2 pops from each one to get my foundation color. I'm getting a little darker during the summertime, so I have to use these 2 foundations for my color. Yes, I know I'm still looking kind of ashy because I still have my setting powder on, but I'm going to get rid of that later. Just making sure that it's working really well. I'm buffering it in a circular motion, to make sure that it's all blended in there well. And using this humongous Claire's dusting brush, I'm going to dust off the setting powder the best I can. My face is really dry in one area, so I just want to make sure that it comes off. Going into my MAC Powder Dark Deep Mineralized Skin Finish, I want to pop that on top of that highlight because that NYX Set It and Forget It, Set It and Fret It, has a tendency to become ashy sometimes. This is me making sure that it's blended in well. Going back into my Lorac palette, going back into my Stila palette, I'm going to use the color Desire. I'm going to pop that up under my waterline. Going back into my Stila palette, using the color Instinct, I'm going to pop it under my eyebrow arch, and I'm going to go back to my Soho brush and I'm going to blend it in. Using my e.l.f. liquid eyeliner in the color Charcoal, I'm going to wing out my eyeliner. Using my clearest brush again, I'm going to dust off all fragments to make sure that I have a matte face. Going into my cover